Today's show is brought to you by the Pittsburgh Opera. The Pittsburgh Opera is presenting an adulterous double feature not seen here since 1996. It's got jealousy, two-timing, and revenge all united in the back-to-back tragedies of Cavalleria Rusticana and Pagliacci. Possessiveness, machismo, and rage fuel their bloody conclusions, and you can enjoy these two amazing operas on the same night, November 9th through the 17th. That's with the Pittsburgh Opera, who asks, where can we take you? Learn more at pittsburghopera.org/citycast. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, Donald Trump took the White House and Republicans swept races all across the state. If you live in Allegheny County, where almost 60% of registered voters cast a ballot for the top Democrat, it's possible that yesterday's election results may not be what you wanted. So today, for our Thursday food show, we're sharing some of our favorite comfort foods from around the city, whether you're looking to eat your feelings all by yourself or share a meal with loved ones. It's Thursday, November 7th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm with CityCast's Mallory Falk and Sophia Lowe. Good morning.
Hello.
Usually when we start our Thursday food shows, we ask, what's the best thing you've eaten this week? But this really has not been a big week for exploration on our team.
No, it hasn't. There's simply been way too much going on this week, voting, hearing that we're going to have to wait to hear what Pennsylvania's results are.
Not waiting at all, really.
Yeah. It's happening so fast and not the result that most of Allegheny County wanted.
So since it's been such a weird week for a lot of our friends, a lot of our neighbors here in Pittsburgh, we thought we'd do a little comfort food roundup of all the best dishes for maybe when you're feeling down, don't feel like cooking, don't want to be around other humans, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like you just want to curl up in your little ball, hang out in your bed, and rot.
So let's start with some of our favorite takeout or delivery orders here in the city. Mallory, you kick us off.
Yeah, when I'm feeling low, a place I love to order from is Smiling Banana Leaf. It's a Thai restaurant in Highland Park. Some of my favorite items on the menu, especially when I just need that little dose of comfort, are the pineapple fried rice and the pumpkin curry, but you truly can't go wrong with anything there. It is so flavorful. It is really warm on a gloomy day. It's perfect.
The pineapple fried rice, I will also co-sign. I love that.
Yeah, this has been a frequent delivery order for our team, actually. So I think we're all on board with Smiling Banana Leaf. I'll move us over to Squirrel Hill. Everyday Noodles is one of my all-time favorites. I don't think you can pick anything bad on the menu. Obviously, there's the ambiance if you're stepping in to pick up your bag of them slapping the noodles and doing all of the hand pulling. It's really beautiful to watch. But the pork soup dumplings in particular are just phenomenal. They're one of the best dishes in this city.
I totally agree with you, Megan, on that being the best dish or one of the best dishes in the city. But really, takeout, do the soup dumplings travel well? I've had their noodles takeout and they'll usually separate the soup from the actual noodle and I'll mix it at home and that'll be fine. But never thought of doing soup dumplings takeout. I'm skeptical.
I think they wrap them really well.
Okay.
And you can I usually get 2 or 3 orders so that I can have them,
Fair
a lot
enough.
of them.
Yeah.
But we also we don't tend to take them far. I don't think I've ever taken them over 15-ish minutes in a car and I'm picking them up fresh. That is an order I arrive promptly for, if you know what I mean.
Okay, good tip. Well, for takeout, I think, most things from a food truck work pretty well to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's just not really a place to sit there.
Smart.
So 2 of my favorites are El Pastorcito and Blowfish Barbecue. At El Pastorcito, if you're really feeling comfort, I would actually skip their tacos, even though they're fantastic, and go for their version of the crunch wrap, just because it's all put together, less messy. You know, you get that Taco Bell grease without like being as goopy as Taco Bell.
An elevated version.
It's actual meat, not grade D meat.
Yeah. And then Blowfish Barbecue, their mac and cheese is really great. I love their brisket sandwich. Get both, put some of the mac and cheese on the sandwich, and then you get also gooiness, but like in a good way.
If we're talking food trucks, I would also put in a recommendation for a burrito from Tasty Taquitos. That is a great source of comfort food.
They also have good burritos. Clearly, I'm just at every food truck in this city.
Yeah, and they're right next to Two Frays in Garfield. So if you also need to like drown your sorrows with a beer, it's a great duo.
Yeah, and I'll throw out one more that I would say is in the spirit of a food truck, because there's, like you said, Sophia, not really a place to sit down in like the traditional restaurant style. But Andy's Sushi at Woolies, like the grocery store in the Strip District. Andy's been making it there forever. He's had a couple of different spaces now. But for lunch, if you go and get the special, you can watch him make it, first of all, which is beautiful. But like the flavor combos are always just like really special and totally unlike what I see on menus really anywhere else in the city.
Megan, I like that both of your recommendations have like a strong visual component of you can watch something unfold in front of you, have a good distraction from the political scene in our nation right now. So bonus points for that.
You know, I did not think of that. So I'm going to look inward on why maybe that's the case over the next few hours. Thank you, Valerie, for pointing that out. Next up, a meal that maybe you prefer to eat alone. It could be something you like to go to in person, sit at the bar, grab up and go, but just generally something that you do not want to share.
So for me, maybe this is Panera Bread, mostly because people don't really want to come to a chain restaurant.
So this is like by default, you have to eat it alone, not because it's your preference.
Well, that brings me to the second part because, you know, I love you pick two. You get two bread bowls, one filled with mac and cheese and the other filled with soup. And I don't really need someone to watch me like devour two bread bowls like a little rat.
So this is like because it's embarrassing to watch you eat it, not because you don't want to share it.
A little bit of both. If we're going somewhere like, you know, more local, less ratty, I will go with Pamela's Pancakes. Do not touch my sweet breakfast foods. I will make an exception if we're swapping bites. They do need to be of equal value. If I feel like you are taking a bigger bite, I will take a second bite of your food.
What's a menu item at Pamela's that's of equal value to their pancakes? Because that's like their prime dish.
Just a different flavor of pancake.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
so it has to be like something else that you want just as much.
Yes.
Got it.
So I'm going to stick with the sweet theme. My pick is an ice cream sundae from Clavon's.
Oh, yeah, over there in the Strip.
Yeah, in the Strip. It's just like this very classic looking ice cream parlor. And for me, it's kind of this comfort spot because I went to a couple birthday parties there when I was a child. So it just feels like returning to a simpler time when I set foot in there. And it's, you know, kind of got an old timey vibe. And I think traditionally there are like all these sweet images of couples sharing sundaes or whatever. But I want my own serving there. Like, you can get yours. I will get mine. This is not something I want other people dipping their spoons into.
What about you, Megan?
You know, when we talked about this, the first place my mind went was meatloaf, but I actually don't know right now where I can get a perfect meatloaf in Pittsburgh. So if you are hearing this, that is what I want. Please reach out to me. You can DM us at CityCastPGH. But lacking that, I'm going to go to my next best option. Penn Brewery has a pork schnitzel situation, so like pounded fried pork that has gravy and mashed potatoes. And I would say it hits all the same notes that I am looking for in a meatloaf situation, but it's just a little bit different. It's kind of German, kind of American. It's very filling. It's warm. There's some crunch. It's really tasty. I also throw out that if you need to drown your sorrows, their hazy IPA is one of my all-time favorites.
And so for you, you need your personal meatloaf. This is not something other people should witness. You need your private time with the meatloaf.
It's not that I need it private. It's that I refuse to share. If you would like some meatloaf or pork schnitzel for that matter, you should order your own because I'm not interested in splitting it ever. Today's show is brought to you by the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council. We know how much Yins love finding out about new events here on our podcast and in our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. But if you're looking for even more options, we cannot say enough about the weekly arts and culture events roundups from our friends at the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council. Their arts blog has local arts and culture recommendations for every single day of the week, no exaggeration, including exhibits, concerts, performances, films, literary events, and so much more, all happening right here in our region. If you've ever gotten FOMO from missing out on a gorgeous local art opening or an installation that all your friends are posting about, I am pretty sure the Arts Council had the scoop. Be like us and check them out at pittsburghartscouncil.org or follow them on Instagram at PGH Arts Council.
I'm James McComb, reporting live from home in my bathrobe and slippers. Tonight, we're talking Dunkin' Polar Peppermint Coffee. Gene's here with the latest. Gene, do you copy?
The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be.
So what about something that's good for a group, like something you can either eat for days or you can maybe just feed a crowd?
So I'm going to go with a chain here, but I think it is the classiest of chains, and this is going to be Cheesecake Factory. We've got one on the south side.
I feel like I'm learning so much about y'all's preferences for chains.
Cheesecake Factory is a classy one.
Listen, they're a scratch kitchen. They serve like all types of cuisines. If you ever want to do a deep dive on their model, it is actually extremely impressive.
Wait, did you say they were a scratch kitchen? There's no way they have a menu that big and it's a scratch kitchen.
Well, I read this in a BuzzFeed article, but then they actually say on their website that their menu items, which they've got like more than 250, are freshly prepared and from scratch to order every day. It's just like a really incredible model. And their serving sizes are so big, which is why I think this is a perfect place to go with friends, because one dish there can probably feed like 4 of you.
Or can feed you now and can feed you 1 to 2 to 3 times in the future.
Very true. I think their like warm brown bread that they serve at the start of the meal is worth the trip alone. But I remember going as a kid and thinking the chicken piccata was like the fanciest thing I had ever tried in my life. And so also for the nostalgia factor and comfort food, that might be my go-to.
When I was a kid at the Cheesecake Factory, I think I was getting like fish and chips. I don't think it ever crossed my mind to order anything like that looked even slightly fancier. I was still eating fried food. And my current Cheesecake Factory favorite, still a fried food. I love the egg roll sampler, specifically the avocado egg rolls. So good.
I mean, I know I'm hating on y'all. I did not try the Cheesecake Factory until I was solidly into my mid-20s, but somebody gave me a lot of gift cards, so it did feed me well for a period. I always go back to the Korean fried chicken. I won't hate on it. It's pretty good.
Okay, since you're so fancy, Megan, is your something that's good for a group also fancy?
I'm going to go with, and I think you can get this at a variety of restaurants all over town, so I won't be specific. I want a sushi boat. So
Fancy.
Where you order so much sushi, or sometimes they're menu items, that it comes presented to you on a large water vessel. Or if not like water bearing, that it's at least like carved wood to look sort of like a boat.
Sure.
I love them. I love the extravagance of it. I love the presentation. I am realizing as I talk, Mallory, once again, this is visual.
This is a key component for you, it seems like.
Apparently. One of my favorite places for sushi, but also just big portions, if you like Chinese food, is Sesame Inn off McKnight Road. Again, just the food is always delicious, really cozy. The restaurant itself is enormous, so good for groups. But I've gotten takeout from them gobs and gobs, and it always hits.
When I want gobs and gobs of food, I usually go for Indian. I think that's always something that also is like good for flexitarians or just a group with some meat eaters, some vegetarians. You can get a bunch of stuff, get a bunch of naan, do a lot of dipping. In Pittsburgh, People's Indian is a classic.
Ooh,
but,
so good.
If you are taking Megan's advice, going to Sesame Inn off of McKnight, I have also heard very good things about Taj Mahal on McKnight Road. So like maybe get your sushi first and then get some Indian to bring home. I don't know. Do both.
Yeah, I mean, you can always Grubhub 3 different places. Like the drivers don't judge you. They still leave it at your doorstep. They walk away. It's fine. Or if they do judge you, I'll back up there. They're judging you. But you don't have to see them as they're judging you. And that's the same thing.
I've got to throw in one more recommendation for Indian food, Udupi in Monroeville. It has phenomenal food. It's one of my favorite spots. I'll try to figure out some way to end up in Monroeville so that I can pick up some food there.
Go to a convention.
Yeah, I guess I need to see what conventions are happening in the near future so that I have an excuse to make it to Monroeville.
Okay, I feel like that category could keep going because all three of us really like to order in large portions and save it for later. So we'll move on. How about best bang for your buck? The cheapest, most delicious thing you can think of.
Now that you've talked about everyday noodles, I have noodles and soup on the brain. So I'm going to go with Tram's Kitchen in Bloomfield. Their pho's so good. And I don't remember how much it costs. It's been a minute since I've been there, but I think it's like $10, $15. So not a ton. Really good dinner and travels well too. They do the thing where soup goes in one container and noodles go in the other.
So I've got a couple of recommendations. First, getting a bowl from Roots Natural Kitchen. They've got a couple locations on the East End. My personal favorite is the Balboa Bowl, which has things like brown rice with black beans and charred corn and avocado, these really good pita chips. And these bowls cost around $13, $14, but usually they feel kind of big and hearty enough to last you for 2 meals. So you get 2 days worth of food out of one of these bowls, which is a great deal. That's
Nice.
like $7 a pop. I also really like Bebe's Kitchen downtown. Their cafe has really great banh mi's, and those are pretty affordable too. And that makes a fantastic lunch. And again, can be kind of filling, and you can kind of get 2 meals out of it.
Oh, I'm eating that in one go.
Also, they wrap them in a way that they're like a great walking tacos. Like you can make your whole way downtown while munching on that thing and be great. I feel like I went a little too hard on this category, so I will run through them very quickly. Meku in the Strip District, they have a charbroiled pork bowl that will last you at least 2 meals, even if you're hungry, and it costs almost nothing. Spring rolls from Thai Tamarind in Bellevue are phenomenal. All their food is good, but the spring rolls in particular just bring me so much joy. Sandwiches from Pepe's, which I feel like is a little bit off the wall. Sophia, you're making a face.
No, I forgot about Pepe's. They're so much better than Primanti's. I'll say it.
I mean, so are most sandwiches in this city, but
I really like them. And also enormous. Like you can get 2 or 3 meals out of them. And then this one, this is as close as I think I'm going to get to the chain recommendation. I really like the wings from Big Shot Bob's.
yeah, can't say I'm familiar.
Never had them before, but I trust you.
They're really good. You should try them. Before we go, let's wrap with Sophia's favorite category, always, a sweet treat.
Since it's my favorite, I'm going to kick this off. So my recommendation is for Colombino coffee, but for hot chocolate. They have a bunch of different kinds there. You could get a cacao hot chocolate if you want something simple. You could get a golden turmeric hot chocolate with different kinds of nut butters. They've got a chai spice hot chocolate.
They've got one mixed with coffee that's also very tasty. That's where I started.
Fair enough. That's probably where I started too. But it doesn't even need to be a bad day or like a comfort food kind of day. Just like a snowy day, a rainy day, a cold day. Like I think this is the season for it. Like whether it's a bad day or you need something to make it extra celebratory, get this hot chocolate.
I'm going to go a little fancy with, I never know if I'm saying this right, Gabby and Jules. They have a spot in the airport and then also in Squirrel Hill.
Megan, who's going to the airport to pick up some comfort food?
Fair enough.
You might need comfort food at the airport. Airports suck.
Thank you for having my back, Sophia.
That's a very fair point.
In the Squirrel Hill location, they have these gorgeous little desserts. They almost look like art. They are just stunning. And I just pick random ones every time I'm in there, and I've never had a bad one. Like every bite is delicious. Also, Pub Chip Shop over on the south side. They have a lot of savories like hand pies and things like that. But I also love their donuts that they do fresh in the morning. They're just huge.
I didn't know they have donuts. I've never been there in the morning. Gotta change that.
Gotta add it to the list.
So I guess I did share a sweet treat before when I mentioned Clavons, but I'm going to keep going with the ice cream theme. I love when someone can take kind of a classic comfort dish and put a new and exciting twist on it, which is why I would say the strawberry pretzel ice cream sandwich from Leona's.
Delicious, but also elusive, Mallory, because I feel like Leona's, it's really hard to ever luck into the same flavor combination twice.
Okay, but Leona's, everything they do is good. Right now, they've got a pumpkin roll ice cream, and that's fantastic.
Though I guess this is a fair point that if you're looking for comfort food, like you want that item right then, you want to be able to get your hands on it as soon as the craving hits. So maybe like one minor point deduction for Leona's, but then 1,000 points added back on for just like the multitude of creative flavor pairings.
Yeah, and I feel like we've really just scratched the surface. Like here in Pittsburgh, you really can't go wrong with like almost any like breakfast spot. We do diners really well. Like there's a lot of little restaurants that really like do such a great job in this category.
And if you're looking for even more recommendations, we will link a Reddit post where people from all over the city chimed in with all of their favorite spots. A lot of them are also our favorite spots, but lots of good inspo there too.
Definitely. I hope you can take a little bit of comfort in one of our recommendations over the next few days, weeks, years. We're going to need it.
That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Reminder, you can always find our shows, old and new, plus all of the back issues of our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. That's on our website at pittsburgh.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow with more political news, more analysis from around the city. We will talk to you then.
Pittsburgh diners, major point deduction for not being open late or 24/7. Like New Jersey diners win that one.
Look, every food establishment in Pittsburgh gets a point deduction for that one. That is not specific to the diners.